left Vietnam on or about the 11th of January, or the 11th of July, 1968. On a plane, Flying Tiger Line 707, and we flew from Cam Bay to Osaka, Japan. Now, Osaka, Japan, we were not allowed to get off the aircraft. No combat military personnel were allowed off the aircraft. Okay? They changed everything. They replenished the bathroom facilities, all that, and we took off. We refueled the plane, and we took off. The next stop was Fairbanks, Alaska, the first American soil, where they actually let us off the plane for 10 minutes. We kissed the ground, we went in, we flushed a real toilet, we got, it was after midnight. And we were only allowed to go into the snack bar and the toilet facilities and then right back on the plane, okay? And they had MPs, military police right there making sure that none of us wandered off, nothing. We flew from there to Seattle, Washington. We landed at an airfield in Seattle, Washington, and they took us, it had to have been 20 minutes on the ground, taxiing, this turn, that turn. Where the heck are we going? We wound up at this hangar on the farthest end of the airport. Farthest end of the airport. We were not allowed anywhere near any civilian people. We disembarked the aircraft, we turned in all our gear. They herded us into showers, gave us clean underwear, shaved, come out of the showers. We were measured for uniforms. While the uniforms were being put together for us, we went in to see the doctors. They physically, not mentally, they physically checked everybody. Make sure we didn't have anything that we weren't supposed to be bringing home visible, okay? From there, they put us in our uniforms, they fed us, and they put us on these big green buses with the heaviest wire mesh on the windows that you could ever possibly want to see. They were like prisoner buses. And they took us to the main terminal of the airport. At the main terminal of the airport, we were not allowed to go inside the terminal. They took us through the baggage compartments down underneath, up to, and processed our tickets and put us on the plane before any civilians were allowed. We were not allowed to mingle with any of the civilians until they got on that plane. Now, the gentleman that runs this wall, Jan Scruggs, do you ever hear his story? Sure. Okay, you know his story about how when he was coming home, the woman sat next to him and called him a baby killer and all that, okay, because he had his dog tags on, and he told her he was a Vietnam War veteran, and how she disgraced him. Well, basically, that happened to a lot of us. A lot more than I would really like to tell you about. But that was the truth. When I got on that plane, I flew from there to Chicago. And my aunt and uncle, who lived in Chicago at the time, met me. And that was the first I really had any contact, was when I got off that plane at O'Hara International Airport in Chicago and met my aunt and uncle. And that was really the first contact with the outside world once I hit soil. And it took me 3 days once I got from Seattle, Washington to Chicago, Illinois. And those buses were the same buses in Nam, but they were the same buses that they loaded us on to go to Vietnam out of Oakland, California. And that is the rest of the story. Because not only coming home was hard, but going over was equally as hard. When they put us on them buses, we asked why those screens, those heavy screens, were on them windows, even the windshields. And the driver said, "You'll find out as soon as we cross into Haight-Ashbury, San Francisco." And we did. They were pelting our buses with rocks and feces and bats and bricks and screaming and spitting at us. And we're going over to Vietnam. And we're looking at one another going, "What? Stop the bus. Stop the bus. We're going to start a war right here." Okay? They took us up to Travis Air Force Base, and we disembarked them buses, and I swear to God, I'd never ever want to see one again. But I had to ride one again when I came home.